The topic of mix ratios is a simple engineering problem and a complex cross-cultural communication dilemma. The community you are working in has likely been mixing mortar for many years, and the masons you are working with have seen many iterations of the designs, sometimes with various organizations that have various policies. From the mason's standpoint, they may be tempted to make a weaker mix in order to save cement, especially if they are worried we will go over our allotted quantity, which may delay the project and will definitely use up more funds that haven't been allocated to that bridge. However, it is imperative for the engineers on site to maintain and enforce a proper mix ratio, both with our dry materials being mixed and the water to cement ratio. If you're worried about saving cement on site, some other ways to save that you may have noticed that you may want to do when you notice you're using more than your allotted amount is to use larger stones when building ramp walls, especially subgrade ramp walls that it's easier to roll a larger stone down into, and using a well-graded fill when you're filling your abutment. So having a good distribution of small to large rocks to fill a lot of the voids so that less grout is needed to fill up all of that void space. Sacrificing mix quality for the sake of saving cement is not appropriate, not only in load-bearing elements like the ramp walls and anchor, but in non-load-bearing elements like the ramp cap, because this is still prone to cracking and weathering over time. But on the flip side, masons will often want to adjust mix ratios based on the quality of sand and gravel available. They will assess the mix based on experience and suggest alterations. For example, if the sand has a lot of larger grains and mixed gravel, they may increase the sand and decrease the gravel to compensate. Make sure to treat these suggestions with merit. Ask questions to the masons to learn and understand the intention behind altering the mix, because it is okay to adjust the mix ratios. Now, the current recommended mix ratios from the EIA Bridge Binder Volume 3 for field operations are as follows. Noting that 1 wheelbarrow is equal to 2 bags of cement. So our concrete mix ratio is 1 to 2 to 3, cement to sand to gravel. Our mortar mix ratios for the tower brick formwork is 1 to 2, cement to sand. And for ramp walls or tier and foundation walls in formwork, it is 1 to 4, cement to sand. For grout, if this is being used for tier, foundation fill, or abutment fill, this is 1 to 4, cement to sand. And if we're using the grout to fill the tubes that have the cables in them, or also sometimes to plaster the top of the towers or the sides of the abutment to make it look nice, we use a ratio of 1 to 1, cement to sand. Now our water to cement ratio should be approximately 0.5 by volume. So 1 bucket of cement should be equal to half a bucket of water. Or rather, we should be putting half a bucket of water onto the pile that we're mixing per 1 bucket of cement. Or half a wheelbarrow per 1 wheelbarrow, etc. These mix ratios are designed to achieve 10 megapascals in structural concrete and 1.5 megapascals in masonry compressive strength at 7 days. If the mason suggests an adjustment and the new ratio falls within your construction tolerances, it is all right to proceed and document your alterations. If this falls outside of construction tolerance, it will be necessary to evaluate the new mix ratio and send a message to your DIC. This may result in the need for a field change request form.